Hey, it's Zeph, and welcome back to the planet of legend in Dwarf Fortress. Today, we will be retiring Nishlas Trade Scaled and moving on to a new place. What is this new place called? Well, I'd like to welcome you all to Robek Lojum, Barbpaints, a wonderful location just a bit away from a NECROMANCER'S Tower. Hopefully settling here doesn't result in any restless souls coming back. So, say hello to our expedition leader, Tun Amkolkubuk. He will be leading our dwarves for now. Packed with us are a fair few other dwarves, and some pin animals as well. Horses, dogs, and even an elephant! Wait. But this elephant is nice, so don't worry. We won't be having any elephant-related bar brawls this time. Hopefully. But yes, it's quite a wonderful plot of land we have here. And right away, I went to digging out the first part of the fortress. I also put some zones in and started to realize that we were digging almost exclusively sand.
I don't like sand.
But this gave me an idea of how I wanted to make the entrance. I decided this time around I would have a tavern right at the entrance with a second set of stairs allowing access directly to the farms, kitchen, and other food-related workplaces. After that, I made more workshops and started digging out an area for metalworking. At this point, we had our first fight, but it wasn't very substantial. Just a moose and a war dog fighting, a few scratches here and there. Then, though, we had our first round of migrants come in. We went from a small outpost of 7 lively dwarves to 16. One of the more notable dwarfs from this migration was a bone doctor by the name of Ushrir Uzoland, I think. Uzoland. I'ma just call him Dr. Ushrir. We also started digging down, and reached quite a vein of magnetite. Our metalworks was just finishing being built too, conveniently. As the tavern was being put together, I started building an area for more specialized farming workshops, such as the tanner and fishery, and also made an area for crafts and goods to be made, with a little vault to hold the goods. After this, as more migrants were coming in, turning our outpost into a quaint hamlet, I dug out a place that would house our training area for the warriors of Barbpaints. Speaking of housing, my dwarves probably needed that, so I planned out a huge area for housing, including an area for future nobles and also Amkolkibuk, because he needed a study to be more effective as a manager. Now, last time, we lived in an area that was pretty mild in terms of weather. However, this time, we have slightly harsher seasons. The beautiful stream that flowed through into the ponds outside our fortress had dried up and froze. This was now going to be what our fall and winter months brought us. This also meant a greater need for a water source other than the now frozen ponds outside. Mining, though, at this point was going quite well, with us finding some somewhat valuable gems and opals. Oh, and also a cavern found at around 0 elevation. How cool. I blocked it off immediately for safety reasons, but looked around at what there was, and that is when I spotted a massive pit. Now, I have some ideas for what I want to do with this, but for now, let us admire it from a distance. But also, admire the large lake that's also down here too. So with winter in full swing, and fungal growths spreading throughout my entire fortress now, I decided maybe it was time to make a safety hole for my animals. I planned out an area big enough for the large herd, and then also made a small area for future training of animals. Now, with the whole water freezing topside, leaving our mouths drier than our fortress's halls, I had an idea. I'm gonna make a well house. A cavern well house, with the water being supplied by the large underground lake. And after a bit of digging, we had let loose the water into the channel I created. Now, you might say, this was a bad idea, and to you I say, I don't care. I'm thirsty. But now we had access to, debatably, the cleanest, freshest mineral water you will ever have. Imagine taking a swig of this water at 3:91 in the morning.
So good and tasty.
After all that, I put in what the manager needed for his quarters and study, and also realized we weren't making stone and wood things fast enough, and made a slight extension of the carpentry and stoneworker stations. Oh, now this is somewhat new. A dwarf goes mad within the fortress. Not attacking anyone or anything, just he's gone bonkers. And after a quick inspection of their situation, I too would be quite mad if my name was Locum Boot Pages. Also, they were caught in the rain, and that was also probably frustrating too. At this point I was thinking, alright, maybe we could build something in this massive pit, but what exactly? I still have no idea, but I can think of a few things that would be pretty cool. For now though, I made a quick little entrance way to get to the pit. So, remember that bone doctor from before? I wanted to make a hospital, not only because I heard that they were just a little bit helpful in the odd chance someone was, I don't know, perhaps bitten by a were-type beast, and would help me diagnose who truly had been bitten, but also because I don't want another cripple situation like I had last time. So I planned out an area for an eventual hospital, doctor's office, and quarters. Welcome to the very first Artefact Grandeur display. Today, we will be looking at 3 chosen grand artifacts we have collected over the past few months and years. First off, we have the Ball Neural, or the Growth of Stabilizing, a beautiful warhammer that invokes an intrepid feeling in one's mind. Does it represent the stabilizing of our beautiful fortress here over time? Or does it represent a forceful proposition to a stable economy and fortress? Exquisite. Next up, we have Kotodshith Thethurus Urith, or Startclam, the Periwinkle of Scarring, a wonderful set of earrings that have what we believe to be a deeper meaning. Earrings themselves scar the ear, do they not? But even in one's scarring, beauty is represented too. In this case, it is said to be as beautiful as periwinkle, a pretty color, and also wonderful flower. And finally, we have By Soul Le Luth, the Peace of Flooding. It looks to be some kind of pendant, perhaps a bracelet. Its ruby color suggests perhaps blood is the liquid of the flood it speaks of. And in this case, we believe that it is. If you were standing in a flood of sanguine beauty, would you not be at peace? Perhaps the blood came from enemies, you thought, and now you stand proudly in the aftermath. Perhaps you lost a few allies along the way, but now you are at peace, surrounded by a flood. That concludes today's Artefact Grandeur display. Our first true fight is now on the horizon. And who would have thunk it? The undead! I wonder why we're being attacked by the undead. Well, now I had to make a burrow so that my doors would be safe. But do not be afraid, for I had previously created a squad who would stand to protect this fortress. I'm pleased to introduce you all to the Magical Sabers. They are the fortress's line of defense, and today, after many vigorous training sessions, they now had a chance to show their worth. As the dead approached, the magical sabers quickly ran in, blooding their blades, cutting off limbs constantly with their steel weaponry. one after the other, the undead elves were felled, mostly by beheading, complete loss of limbs, and at one point, the militia commander punched an undead elf in the second finger, and that was pretty funny. All in all, though, no fatal or even worrying wounds. Everyone survived, except for the undead, of course. But yeah, the magical sabers had one of their very first battles, and had successfully defended Barbpaints from an undead siege. As a reward, remember the elephant from before? His name is Ustooth Glowplanks, and now he's a war elephant who is owned by the militia commander. So yeah, things are going pretty smoothly. After that, though, I got a grand bookkeeper, traded with the locals, and fully built the housing area for the dwarves of Barbpaints. And finally, I finished the hospital. With all that done, I'd like to say this is going to be it for today. We had made a lot of progress. Way more, I think, than we did in the first episode of The Ugly Onion, in my opinion. Anyway, I hope you all have enjoyed this, and I hope you all are doing okay. If not, just know that things will get better. And I hope that I, at least, have been a comfort for you. I love you all so much. Hope your spring brings good times. Try to stay safe, and I'll see ya.
Everybody loves.